it was a big win for the Detroit Tigers, 5-2 over the Atlanta Braves on Thursday, April 30th, in the finale of the 3-game series at Truist Park. I want to go right to what I think was the biggest point in the game, and it was after the second and the third innings. Framber Valdez was teetering quite a bit. He gave up 1 run in the second inning. He gave up another run in the third inning. He was struggling with his command. He was leaving too many pitches over the heart of the plate, and they were getting hit. That's how the Braves scored their first 2 runs, but then Valdez locked it in at the end of the third inning, and then the fourth, the fifth, the sixth. He shut down the Braves down the stretch. He did a really good job retiring the final 10 batters that he faced. He put the Tigers in a position to win, gave him a chance, right? And that's all you can ask for as a starting pitcher. He did that even after a rocky start. I thought he did a much better job of locating his pitches as the outing went along, and it was different pitches that he was throwing. It was the curveball, it was the changeup, it was the sinker, which he didn't have a great feel for, but then that slider to lefties was huge. He got 2 strikeouts on that pitch and didn't throw it very often, but when he did, it was very effective. The slider to lefties, that was huge for Valdez, as was the curveball, the changeup. He did a much better job of getting things locked in. He finished better than he started, similar to how Tarek Skubal finished better than he started in Wednesday's game. Just this time, Valdez finishing strong, it mattered because the Tigers were able to get the job done and come back for a win. It was 2-0 until the 6th inning when the Tigers scored. And then the Tigers ended up scoring 2 more runs in the 8th inning and 2 runs in the 9th inning. For the Braves, we saw them going with Bryce Elder on the mound. He was really sharp. He gave up 1 run. Now, he did walk 3, 6 hits, but he was able to work out of some of the jams there and ended up giving the Braves 6 good innings, and the Tigers didn't score until his 6th inning. And then everything went from there. It was a little bit of a rocky situation in the 7th inning when the Tigers had a situation with bases loaded and 1 out. Riley Green strikes out on 3 pitches. Spencer Torkelson lines out, and it's like, okay, here we go again. But this team continues to show, no matter what the situation is, and look, I know the record is 16-16 after 32 games, and you'd like the Tigers to be playing better ball in terms of the standings, but this is a team that never gives up, and they continue to show that again in this one. Going right to the 8th inning, it was Kerry Carpenter with a triple, Matt Vierling with a double, and that tied the game. And then a little bit later on, Gleyber Torres has the sacrifice fly, and the Tigers take a 3-2 lead. And then they add on 2 more runs for a 5-2 lead, with those 2 runs in the 9th inning for insurance runs. Big day for Matt Vierling. He had 3 hits, 2 RBIs. Big day for Kevin McGonigal. He had 3 walks, but he also saw 31 pitches in 5 plate appearances. He did a really good job of working deep into counts and driving up the pitch counts for opposing pitchers. And then Gleyber Torres had 3 hits as well, so he had a big game. A lot of different contributors in this one. And then it just came down to slamming the door. Like, once the Tigers were able to take the lead, it came down to, okay, how's the bullpen going to perform? And Drew Anderson, I thought he was phenomenal. Drew Anderson has been pitching very well as of late. He's somebody that the Tigers are going to need. This is a bullpen that clearly has its defects. Drew Anderson is a guy who has one of the higher swing and miss rates among the bullpen. And it's not an elite swing and miss rate, but Tigers, they don't miss many bats as a bullpen. So if somebody is going to emerge from that group of potential bat missers, Drew Anderson is going to be that guy. He had 2 strikeouts in this one, worked around 1 hit and 1 walk, but gave him 2 innings. And it wasn't just any old 2 innings. I mean, that was against the top of the Braves lineup and the middle of the Braves lineup. That was great work by Drew Anderson. The Tigers are going to need more of that from him if they want to have success out of their bullpen. And then Kyle Finnegan slammed the door in the 9th inning. It wasn't Kenley Jansen. It wasn't Will Vest. Will Vest, by the way, hasn't pitched since Monday. That's very fascinating, a storyline to watch. We'll get more on that from AJ Hinch, I'm sure, in the coming days. But it was Kyle Finnegan taking the mound and getting his first save of the season in his first save opportunity. What does that mean for Kenley Jansen? We're going to find out. They signed Kenley Jansen to get a majority of the save situations. We all know Kenley Jansen is chasing 500 saves, and he's getting closer and closer with every opportunity, but he's blown his last 2 saves, both of those on walk-off home runs. Tigers decide to give him a day and go to Kyle Finnegan. What does that mean moving forward? We may not find out until we get to Friday's series opener against the Texas Rangers. That's where we're headed, back to Detroit. Tigers versus Rangers. That 3-game series begins on Friday. But the Tigers, they're able to get back in the win column, avoid the sweep against the Braves, just like they were able to avoid the sweep against the Cincinnati Reds during this road trip. So only 2 wins in 6 games, but both of those wins in the finale to avoid the sweep, and now they'll head back home to Detroit.